Hey MVP, he's going to talk to you guys about Jose Daniel Medina versus Ateba Gautier. Daniel Medina 11-4, Gautier 6-1. Shout out to Cameroon, -475 favorite, huge favorite, okay, and a huge man. He's 6'4", 185. This is the biggest fighters on this card. Physically, they're the biggest ones because they're worried about the cardio of fighting in Mexico City. So we'll start with Gautier first. Dude knocks everybody out. 6-1, 5 knockouts, known as the silent assassin. I believe he's silent because there's a language barrier, but it doesn't matter. Gautier goes out there, and if he's going to win the fight, he's going to knock everybody out. Minute decision once back in 2021. Other than that, just out there breaking necks. Now, be very careful, because if you can go watch this Dana White Contender Series fight, he's a little gassed. He's gassed in the second round, and we're talking about 4 minutes into the second round. You have a whole nother round. If we live there, if we get there. And he's fighting a zombie. He's fighting a dude nobody wants to fight. Jose Daniel Medina from Bolivia. First thing I want to tell you is Jose Daniel Medina is not a UFC caliber fighter. He should not be in the UFC. He should not be collecting these paychecks. I don't know if Dana White just wanted to donate some money to Bolivia. It feels like money laundering. It feels like something illegal's going on because this man's accolades have zero business in the UFC. Zero. Okay? I've watched guys win the Contender Series, Dana White Contender Series on a Tuesday night and not get a contract. This man lost by unanimous decision on Contender Series. Unanimous. And they still gave him a contract because he was tough. And the guy he lost to, Magomed, he's not even in the UFC anymore. And the other guy he just got beat unanimously, Zachary Reese, doesn't belong in the UFC either. These are regional fighters, and he's the worst one of all of them. Zero athleticism. Zero ability to fight, as far as I'm concerned. He looks like one of my drunk uncles in a bar. Don't bring nothing to it. He just wants to bang. There's no way he takes a shot. There's no athleticism here, and you're fighting a 6'4" African man. African Mandingo. Just a tough Bolivian, bro. Just a tough dude. He's going to go out there. His face is going to give that man all he can handle. So how do we bet on this fight? Well, number one, you don't have to. That's the first and foremost. You don't have to. You can have the discipline. But if you go back and look at this man on the regional scene, when he was fighting cab drivers, you see he finds a way to win, but they're like in the second and third round. I can only imagine what those knockouts look like in the second and third round. And I believe it's because his opponents are drowning. They're exhausted. They can't pick up their arms anymore. Because this man can take every punch you want to throw at him. Now, we're still Homo sapiens. We're still humans, right? With Anunnaki blood. Like, don't get me started. But we're still humans. Like, his nose is going to break. His orbital bones will break. But this dude has a granite chin. And if you don't knock him out, now you got to fight this guy for 15 minutes. And it's just one of those situations where you know this other man has no cardio. And we're fighting on top of the Swiss Alps. We can't breathe up here. And all the durability in the world will save you. One thing you can't do is fight without breathing. Trust me, you can't fight without breathing. It's almost impossible. You got to breathe. And Jose Daniel Medina might just stick around. Now, I think he should be knocked out in the first round. In full disclosure here, this is a man who's never been knocked out. And he took an absolute beating from some of these other dudes. And here's the crazy thing. These aren't world-class ass kickers. These are terrible fighters that beat the hell out of him. Terrible fighters that beat the hell out of him. Zachary Reese, by the way, he's like 6'4" as well. So he's getting beat up by anybody bigger than him, anybody with more length, more athleticism, and he's running into this man. So how would I bet this fight? Firstly, I wouldn't bet this fight. Personally, I wouldn't bet this fight. But I'll pull up the sports book for you. Gautier's a -460. It makes sense. He should be a -460. He should be a -600, whatever it is. But it's no different than the young man from the Congo last week. So if we go here to London, or maybe it wasn't last week. When was it? Fight night? Where's our guy? Our minus 900 favorite who just stunk it up. Was it UFC 313? When was it? I'm going to find it. Maybe I'm not going to find it. Was it Seattle? Who was that kid who was a minus 900 favorite? Am I tripping? Maybe I missed him. Maybe I skipped over him. The African dude. Oh, Moussasis, right here. Moussasis goes out and loses to Carlos Vera, gets subbed, right? Now, I'm just trying to tell you, Carlos Vera had a great skill set. That's why we have the sub over here for plus 1,200. Carlos Vera had a great skill set, and we didn't have a lot of tape on Moussasis. We just know he's a freak athlete and can bang, right? The same thing with this particular fight. Not a lot of tape on Gautier, but what we do have, he's just a freak athlete who can bang. Got it. Jose Medina doesn't have, Jose Daniel Medina doesn't have any grappling that worries me. He doesn't have any ability of anything. He's just a tough guy that shouldn't be in the UFC. So I'm sure he should be knocked out. I'm sure he's going to get knocked out until I'm not, right? So I have it as a lean. TKO, Gautier wins this fight. What does that pay out? Like, if you go to the books, Gautier by TKO is a minus 130. There is no reason to go heavy on this fight. Just do your Gautier and flip your unit. It's simple, man. You go in here and you flip your unit. But before you leave the sports book and you see that you're about to win $176 for that bet, go put 40. Go put 40 on Medina to win by knockout. It'll pay out $420. You need to hedge your bet. Straight across like this. This is how you do it. This is how you every fight, you don't need to get rich. You need to come in here. You go, Gautier's winning. I know he's winning, so I'm going to go with Gautier. And we're putting 140 out the door. That's all we're doing. We're putting 140 out the door. We're getting back 176. You're making $30. You're making 30% on your money. You're putting out 100 out the door. Well, 140. You're making back 30. Or you're putting 140 out and you're making back 420. You're hedging yourself. That's the approach you need to take on these fights. Now, if nobody wins by TKO and we go to points, you lose. And you lose pretty healthy. But you can avoid it. I'm just telling you that Gautier should win this fight by TKO. He should go out there and bang. But careful. This dude Medina, he's tough as nails, man. What are the over rounds on this? Will this fight go the distance? Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Total rounds. 1.5. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Medina's hard to knock out, but he should get cracked and it should be over fast. But if it isn't, I don't know how Gautier lives. Your friends don't know, but Rico knows. Medina sucks. Careful. Don't be betting on people who suck, but do your best, y'all. Good luck with that analysis.